Hello dear students, welcome to this class of MA Final, paper 5th B, that is American Literature. I am Dr. S.S. Vedwan, Department of English, Arts College, Alwar. Dear students, in the last video we were discussing the novel The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Today we will continue with the novel, and as you all know, the novel, it was published in 1850 and it is the struggle of Hester Prynne, the heroine of the novel, and it tells us her story, her struggle, and it also contains the novel Scarlet Letter, dear students. It also contains some religious and historic allusions. So let us try to decipher these religious and historic allusions contained in this novel, and the book, that is this novel, The Scarlet Letter, it also explores the theme of uh, sin, guilt, and legalism, and it is a famous novel by Hawthorne. So, dear students, let us discuss the allusions which are present in this novel and they how they carry forward the action of the novel. The first allusion is Anne Hutchinson, mentioned in chapter 1 of the book The Prison Door, and she was a religious dissenter in 1591 to 1643, from 1591 to 1643, and in the 1630s she was excommunicated by the Puritans and exiled from Boston. Boston, remember, the setting of this novel is Boston. The second allusion is that of Anne Hibbins, who was executed for witchcraft in Boston in 1656. And in the Scarlet Letter, she is depicted as a witch who tries to tempt Hester Prynne, and uh, she is also mentioned in the novel The Scarlet Letter. Then we have another allusion, and it is Richard Bellingham. Richard Bellingham was the governor of Massachusetts and deputy governor at the time of Hibbins' execution. And in the Scarlet Letter, he is depicted as the brother of Anne Hibbins. So remember these political allusions. Then we have Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a great leader of Germany. We can say Protestant Reformation he was, and his lifespan was from 1483 to 1545. Then we have Increase Mather, a powerful leader of the early Massachusetts Bay Colony, and he was a Puritan also, and this is another allusion mentioned in the novel. Then we have John Winthrop, second governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony, and then let us now decipher some of the uh, allusions. The King's Chapel Burying Ground. It is mentioned in the final paragraph. It exists. The Elizabethan Payne gravestone is traditionally considered as inspiration for the protagonist's grave. So it is mentioned in the final paragraph. And the story of King David and Bathsheba is depicted in the tapestry in Mr. Dimmesdale's room. We encounter it in chapter 9. So it is a biblical illusion from Samuel. Then we have John Eliot. again a Puritan missionary to the American Indians, and he is mentioned, he is rather referred to as the Apostle Eliot, whom Dimmesdale has gone to visit at the beginning of chapter 16, A Forest Walk. So these are some of the allusions, dear students, which are mentioned in Nathaniel Hawthorne's novel, The Scarlet Letter. Then there are certain symbols also which are mentioned, and the most important symbol is the scarlet letter A, that refers adulterous, adultery, and in the very beginning of the novel, Hester's letter A is a representation of her sin and adultery. So it represents her sin. Then we have another symbol of meteor. The meteor shaped as an A serves as another symbol in the book, and Dimmesdale, the meteor is a sign from God. He tells that it is to Dimmesdale, it is a sign from God who is revealing his sin to everyone. Then we have another symbol in Dimmesdale's name. Dimmesdale's name itself represents a symbol. His name contains the root word dim. So read this. His word, it contains the root word dim, and his full name is Dimmesdale. So the word dim, it evokes the feeling of faint, weak, gloom. This represents the mental state of Dimmesdale also. Then we have Pearl, the little girl, brought up by Hester Prynne. She symbolizes the embodiment of her parents, sin and passion. Now, she is a love child, and her mother brings her up. And it is mentioned she was the scarlet letter in another form, the scarlet letter endowed in life. So, this little girl, Pearl, is another symbol used in the novel, The Scarlet Letter. Then we have this rose bush. The rose bush is mentioned twice within the course of the story. In the plot, it is mentioned twice. One, at the beginning, it is first viewed as nature's way of offering beauty to those who leave and enter the prison, as well as providing a glimmer of hope. So there we have the first mention, and again it is mentioned in the human soul. Then we have the symbol of the scaffold. As you all know, the scaffold is mentioned 3 times in the novel, and it symbolizes shame, revelation of sin, and guilt, as it is where Hester, she receives her scarlet letter as punishment, and where Dimmesdale experiences his revelation through the meteor. So these are some of the popular symbols used in the novel Scarlet Letter, and a student of literature, dear students, he must get himself acquainted with all these allusions and all these symbols used in the novel for a better understanding of the novel. I hope you have understood the symbols used and the allusions used in the novel Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Thank you very much. We'll continue with another video in the next session. Thank you very much.